Breaking news. The massive battle against ISIS launched overnight. Thousands of Iraqi troops trying to retake the key city of Mosul deal a crippling blow to the terror group. ABC's Alex Marquardt is at a base on the front lines. Alex, what's happening right now?
Good morning, George. We've been watching this battle for Mosul play out down there in that valley with the forces up here in the hills and the coalition jets above pummeling those ISIS militants below on this first day of this battle that will determine the future of ISIS. The battle for Mosul beginning. An estimated 30,000 Kurdish and Iraqi troops fighting to retake the ISIS stronghold, being defended by around 5,000 militants. Those Kurdish fighters zeroing in their mortars on ISIS targets below. Targets selected and observed by American forces, including these soldiers from the 101st Airborne Division. A critical role played by some of the around 6,000 U.S. troops in Iraq. That was one of the rockets heading out down towards into the plains around the city of Mosul. As the sun has come up, the pace of fighting has picked up as well. We've been able to see and hear the artillery and the airstrikes landing down there around Mosul. For the first time, we're hearing gunfire as well, meaning the two sides are now closely engaging each other. The view of the fighting increasingly obscured by a thick black haze, likely from oil and tire fires set by ISIS to provide cover. If ISIS loses Mosul, they lose their last foothold in Iraq and their biggest prize to date. It would deal a devastating blow to the group. For months, the U.S. and Iraq have talked about their large-scale plans to retake Mosul from ISIS, hoping to demoralize their enemy and energize resistance in the city. It's not yet clear whether ISIS will mount a full defense of the city or try to cross into Syria where they have more territory. Either way, the United Nations says it is expecting around 1 million people to flee the fighting. They've been setting up emergency camps. They say it could be one of the biggest humanitarian crises this year. George? Okay, Alex Marquardt, thanks very much. Let's bring in Martha Raddatz for more on this right now. And Martha, we've seen the public build up to this battle for months. And as Alex pointed out, this is so critical because most of the last stronghold for ISIS in Iraq.
Exactly right, George. It is critical and difficult, but the U.S. military feels very confident that the Iraqis will succeed, although this will not be fast. This would be a huge step towards defeating ISIS in Iraq, but governing and stabilizing that area will be the challenge. And of course, ISIS in Syria is a much more complicated problem. You don't have a unified fighting force there and very few U.S. forces to help them. This will be the challenge for the next president, George. And the question is, how do you prevent those fighters from melting back into Syria? Martha Raddatz, thanks very much.
We want to begin with news that the U.S. military is about to escalate the fight against ISIS in Iraq. Defense Secretary Ash Carter made an unannounced visit to Baghdad today after word that Iraqi forces have captured a key air base near the ISIS-held city of Mosul. Carter says the base will be an important staging point, and if needed, he says Americans are prepared to join Iraqi battalions when they fight to retake Iraq's second largest city.